Hi everybody, welcome back to WildCare. Today we are interacting with this guy, Vladimir the Turkey Vulture, one of everybody's favorite wildlife ambassadors. And I'm sorry about the noise in the background. We've got, hey Jonatas, could you do that later?
Jonatas!
Sorry everybody. Well, we're just gonna have a vacuum going right now. Oh, we're gonna have a good close-up with Vladimir because Vladimir is in a very randy mood, shall we say. It is mating season for vultures right now. And Vladimir is not, there we go, a little quieter. Vladimir is not immune from that, even though he is in captivity, and actually has been in captivity since 1985. This is an elderly turkey vulture, probably one of the very, very oldest known in captivity. That's right, Melissa, one of the oldest known in captivity?
Yeah, there are a couple vultures that I've come across that are much older, so hopefully Vlad can live to be at least into his 50s here. The larger the bird, the longer the lifespan.
Oh, and he's a big guy.
So he's a big guy, so he's 35. He's pretty good for 35 though as far as health goes. So we got him because, or he came to WildCare because somebody tried to raise him as a pet.
Yeah, I feel like a turkey vulture makes a terrible pet.
Yeah, you can see right there they can get pretty aggressive. So what Vlad's problem is that
Vladimir wants to eat me. That's what Vladimir wants to do.
With humans.
Yes.
So he doesn't identify as a vulture. So he identifies more with humans or relies on us for food. So his food, he's a scavenger. So he eats dead animals. Anything that has died from maybe a virus, a disease, or an accident, maybe been hit by a car. A lot of people see these guys on the side of the road eating maybe an animal that was killed. Very interesting fact about turkey vultures is that they are immune to cholera, anthrax, botulism, and salmonella.
Wow, so they can eat all of those things and not have any symptoms from it whatsoever.
Correct. And
that is
the way
awesome.
that they can do that is because they have very strong stomach acids, but they also contain, their stomachs also contain 2 different pathogens that also destroys anthrax, botulism, cholera, and salmonella. So let's say a cow dies of anthrax, right? Turkey vultures will come in, they'll eat that carcass, and while they're eating that carcass, they're also going to the bathroom. And in their bathroom or in their poop is some of that acid and viruses, and they are sterilizing the carcass while they're eating. So they're pooping, and that's sterilizing the carcass.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And it's sterilizing the ground around the carcass, so whatever that cow died from, in that case would be anthrax, doesn't leach into the soil or our water system. So they basically are the cleanup crew.
That is amazing. That is an amazing service that these birds provide.
Service.
That's so cool. So they are actually sterilizing things that we would not want in our environment as they're eating. So I just want to explain, we decided to do Vladimir today because Vladimir is actually in love with Melissa. He has decided that she is going to be his mate, and usually he is very distracted by her, and he's been doing a nesting behavior. That nesting is over there. But he also, well, either loves or hates, it's hard to tell with the turkey vulture, having someone talk in front of him. So he's very, very interested in the fact that we've got the camera on him right now. So we were hoping to show you some of his mating behaviors because he's in head over heels in love with Melissa. But we may just get him doing this.
Yeah, and I'm very honored that he chose me, which is very interesting. I've never actually had that happen to me. And when he's doing this behavior, he's actually making quite a few sounds, a lot of grunting, a lot of hissing, and he's building a nest, and he's showing me how we're building a nest. He'll go over and he'll start to put a nest together. Now, in the wild and here at WildCare, turkey vultures don't have a traditional nest that's made up of sticks. They are just depressions in the ground.
Oh, they nest on the ground?
Just
I don't know that I knew that.
So what they do and what Vladdy does here is he gets down really on the ground and he takes his feet and he just scrapes out a little divot in the ground.
Interesting.
They can have 1 to 2 eggs, and the baby turkey vultures will stay with the parents for much longer than any other bird.
Is that because they're social and they need to learn the social ways of the turkey vulture clan?
It also, the longer that they stay with the parents, the more they can learn.
Yeah.
So it's better for the success as a species.
Sure.
Now, I'm sure your viewers are seeing that hole right through the beak there.
Yep.
Okay?
Show us your nostrils there.
Turkey vultures have a great sense of smell. They can smell a dead animal up to 2 miles away. And that hole right there goes right into their pathways, right into their brains. And so you'll see a lot of turkey vultures kind of teetering in the air. And what they're trying to do is get as much scent molecules through that opening.
Sorry, everybody.
There.
That's fascinating. Okay, so that wobbling thing they do as they're flying with their wings in the V for vulture, that's actually to increase the amount of scent they're getting?
Yeah.
Nice.
Buddy, there you go. What do you think of that?
He says, I'll stop trying to kill this person and come eat something.
And their heads there, they are very bare. They do have a couple little feathers on there, and that's obviously for cleanliness. If they're going to stick their head in a dead animal, they're going to get all sorts of yucky stuff on them. So that helps not to have a lot of hair there, or a lot of feathers up there.
A lot of feathers up there,
yeah,
sure.
Clean it off, so it keeps it very clean. And turkey vultures, even though they're scavengers, and a lot of people think they're disgusting, they're very, very clean animals.
Yeah.
Their poop is sterilizing. They clean off their feathers constantly. They take a lot of baths. They're very, very clean animals. And his beak right there, you can see on the end there, is a hooked beak, very, very powerful.
Yes, the reason I keep backing up my camera. You could do some damage to my phone here.
Yes, yes. So the other vulture that you find in California would be the California condor.
Yeah.
So in North America, we have the turkey vulture, the black vulture, and the California condor.
I do like a black vulture. I wish we had them here, but
Yes.
the turkey vulture is one of my very, very favorite birds. He is just such a cool guy.
Out of the three, out of the California condor, turkey vulture, and black vulture, turkey vulture is actually the most successful scavenger because they use their sense of smell to scavenge.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones use their sense of sight. So this guy, this turkey vulture here, will be able to smell dead animals underneath bushes or trees that would be otherwise hidden from sight.
Sure.
So out of the three, they are the most successful.
That's very cool. That's why you see so many of them. They really are everywhere. They're very, very common. It's funny because I think his little red head is sort of bare and sort of funny looking, but his plumage is absolutely beautiful. I think vultures are gorgeous birds,
Yeah.
and they're such incredibly competent flyers. Do you know how long they can ride a thermal?
Hours.
Hours and hours without
Hours
flapping
and
at
hours.
all, right? Isn't that just such a cool thing?
Now you also see them do the pose where they stretch out their wings. That's a 6-foot wingspan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they do that to cool off or to warm up, and they can actually raise their body temperature by 6 degrees by doing that.
Oh, and that's interesting. So when they're sitting up on their perching trees, you'll see them with their wings wide spread open. And Vladimir, of course, does that in the morning. It's one of my favorite things. When the sun first hits him, he'll spread his wings. When all of our wonderful visitors could come to the courtyard, I know that was a favorite of everybody. So we'll try to catch that in video and post it for everybody that's missing Vladimir here. If you're just tuning in, this is Vladimir, WildCare's Wildlife Ambassador Turkey Vulture. He has been at WildCare since 1985. He was found by somebody that thought a turkey vulture would make a good pet. And of course, we all know that turkey vultures make terrible pets. One of the reasons is because of the vomiting. Yes, Melissa?
Yes, they can projectile vomit about 6 feet. It's one of their defenses.
Mm-hmm.
And that vomit is, again, covered in acid and all sorts of nasty stuff to...
Well, and they eat dead things, so
And
it's
they
not
eat
really
dead
appetizing
things.
from the start.
So they, that vomit, if I were to give it what it'd smell like, basically rotten meat that's covered in rotten eggs that's been sitting out in the sun.
Yummy.
Yeah, it's a quite a putrid smell that you can't really get out.
Whenever we get them in,
for quite a few hours.
right? Whenever we get them into the wildlife hospital, of course they do vomit because they're stressed. And the turkey vulture that we released yesterday during yesterday's live stream, when he came in on the 21st of March, I was here, and all of a sudden you smelled that coming through. Hi, Vladimir. Yes, it's lovely to see you too, sir. You could smell that coming through the hospital. It's a very distinctive odor. I also like the smell of their feathers. I always feel like the vulture smell, it's sort of like grandmother's attic.
It does, it does.
It's got kind of it's not an unpleasant at all musty smell.
Yeah, they're,
I'm going to try to distract him.
I like the smell of it too.
I don't like the smell of the puke, but I do like the smell of his feathers. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, when he's making a nest and everything like that, you can start to smell him and feel like that's close enough. But he's
Vladimir. You want to try to distract him? I don't know.
no, I think he's focused.
He's
But
focused.
you know what? This is actually a natural instinct because we are in his nest.
Yep, that's
I am
true.
the mate, so he's, investigating what is new to the area.
Yep.
So he's doing exactly what he should be doing as a dominant male.
Oh, yeah.
In vulture culture, the male is the dominant, and they're actually larger than the female. Vlad here is probably about a little over 5 pounds.
Okay, that's big.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and in nature, he would be the alpha. He's older. He would make him a desirable mate. To pass on those genes.
Sure.
And
Yeah, Vladimir is always one of the animals that I think has a really good lesson for people when they visit WildCare's Courtyard, right? Like, it seems like such a fun idea to have a wild animal as a pet, but what you've done is you've completely ended that wild animal's possibility of becoming the wild animal he's supposed to be, right? Vladimir is totally flighted. He's totally healthy. He would be a perfectly successful turkey vulture, except he doesn't know that he's a turkey vulture, and he comes and comes down and lands on people if he were to be set free. So he would not be able to survive in the wild.
Well, and the thing too is that they have such complex social structure.
Right.
And many people don't think that. They think, they're scavengers, they're just eating dead stuff. I'm like, this is a very, very smart, very, very smart species. I would say out of all of these, in my opinion, this is the smartest animal that we have. And so,
awesome.
Again, they're complex social structures. He's very intelligent. It's hard to keep him busy because he's so intelligent. He has a great sense of memory. He figures out little food puzzles that we give him.
I love that.
And
Hi, Vlad. Yes.
yeah, so he's very, very, very intelligent. They happen to be one of my favorite animals to work with, just because they are so intelligent. And the interesting thing about Vlad is he pretty much, it's his world, and he does what he wants, and we just go with it.
Right. Right. It's funny because this is enrichment for him too, right? This is a moment for him that's not like his normal everyday experience here in the WildCare Courtyard. He's hasn't seen me with a camera actually he's seen me with a camera quite often, but this is all very very exciting and interesting for him.
And what goes for his intelligence is he also knows his name, which to
right.
have a sense of identity or identify with a name, that's pretty intelligent. Plus he knows the name of objects. Like one object here, why this is his kennel up here, we can say go to your kennel, we can say get up there buddy, or hey, can you get up there? I mean, it can have a lot of different words associated with it, and he understands each one.
That's amazing. I mean, that's super smart.
Yes. He's also very cautious of new things. So if we put a new enrichment item in here, he does this really interesting behavior where he puts his wings out to be like, oh, I'm like the biggest.
Ooh.
And he'll circle around it, and then he'll hit it with his foot to make sure it's dead.
Oh, that's a good way to test,
Yeah, and they're absolutely amazing. They're just so smart, so beautiful, so necessary to the environment there.
Yeah, I remember reading articles about the decimation of the vulture populations in India due to, it turned out, the use of an anti-inflammatory medication in cattle, and the vultures eating the carcasses of the cattle, and it caused horrible, really unpleasant deaths for the birds, and it really has changed the ecosystem in India, not having these guys.
And that's amazing to think about what we do with, they can take out anything natural, pretty
right.
much. They're built for it, and for us to introduce like pesticides or denicides, anti-inflammatories, anything like that, that's what takes them down.
Yeah.
That's what the threat is. They can kill anthrax, but yet they can't survive anti-inflammatory drugs.
Yep.
Or denicides or anything like that. So.
Yeah, so the vulture we released yesterday, hopefully everybody saw the video, the vulture we released yesterday had eaten rat poison. Phone's ringing. In his vomit was the bright teal green of the rat poison, and so we knew for sure that he'd had that. We also have had a number of vultures in recent months and years that have come in basically catatonic, like comatose, and it turns out that they had eaten meat that had been euthanized by a veterinary drug, drawing a blank on the name right now, that the euthanized animals had not been disposed of properly, and the vultures that ate the meat then ended up becoming poison, falling out of the sky, and came to the wildlife, were brought to the wildlife hospital. So we were fortunately able to save those animals. But it is really an amazing thing what can happen to these animals when they run afoul of things that people do.
Yeah, my senior thesis was on understanding the turkey vultures and fires like anthrax, because I always thought that was just something in the news, but it's actually a spore that can live in the ground up to 7 years, and cattle will come along and stir up that ground, and that's how they get anthrax.
Oh,
and
interesting.
That's a
Okay.
$1 billion business.
Hello.
So
Sorry.
financially,
I know,
economically,
Vlad.
they're important.
Well, Vladimir, I think we should let you relax, my friend. This has been both enriching and a little stressful for you, I think. Plus, my legs are falling asleep. So I think we're going to let everyone that's watching our live stream, thank you for joining us. We will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific time for another amazing live stream from WildCare. We sure miss everybody being able to come to the courtyard. Thank you to all of our rescuers, people that have brought us animals, and keep looking for injured and orphaned animals when you're on your walk. Our hotline is open and up and running. Our hotline operators are here. Our wildlife hospital is here. And we are missing you all. Thank you all, and hope that you are well and safe and healthy. Thanks so much. Join us tomorrow.
Bye.